Type 2 diabetes, which used to be known as adult onset diabetes, affects millions of people worldwide. But what are some of the risk factors that lead to people developing type 2 diabetes? In this video, I would like to share some of those risk factors with you. Today I would like to share with you some of the common risk factors that lead to the development of type 2 diabetes. The first one I'd like to share with you is high blood pressure. If you consistently have high blood pressure, you have a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The second is abnormal cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is separated into HDL and LDL. I don't want you to be worried if you have a total high serum cholesterol. That's the total cholesterol. The cholesterol I'm really talking about is your LDL cholesterol, and even that can be separated into two forms, which is your small and dense LDL cholesterol and your large and fluffy LDL cholesterol. It's a small and dense LDL cholesterol that you really want to be concerned about. So if you have a really high serum cholesterol, don't let that worry you too much. You need to dig a little bit deeper to find out what's going on behind that. This is interesting. If you're white and over 40, you have a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But if you're black or South Asian and you're over 25, that risk increases. So the younger you are and you're black and South Asian, you have a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This may be one of the reasons why type 2 diabetes is rife within the black community. If you have a family history, as if your mum or your sister or your dad has had type 2 diabetes, you're 6 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. My mother was a type 2 diabetic, so that puts me at greater risk. If you live a sedentary lifestyle, if you don't exercise, there's no form of movement in your life, you just go home and sit in front of the television, you have a greater risk there as well. And if you have a bad diet, sometimes a bad diet goes with a sedentary lifestyle. But if you have a bad diet, you're eating a lot of sugar and high carb laden foods, you have a greater risk of developing diabetes. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can manage your diet in some future videos. If you're overweight, and that comes from having a sedentary lifestyle and having a bad diet, you're at a much greater risk. In fact, this is one of the greatest risks for developing type 2 diabetes, especially if your weight is around your middle. If you have a large stomach, that risk increases even more. So just be aware, being overweight is a great risk to developing type 2 diabetes. And this is interesting, gestational diabetes. This is the kind of diabetes that a pregnant mother will develop while carrying a child. If you have developed gestational diabetes, which normally goes away after the pregnancy is finished, your child has a greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But also, if after that pregnancy you've given birth to a baby that's over 9 pounds, that risk of you developing type 2 diabetes also increases. I know my drawing is not the best, but you get the picture what I'm trying to say. It's really important that you're aware of the risk factors of developing type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is a scourge that is affecting millions of people worldwide. There's millions of people worldwide with diabetes at the moment, and there's even millions of people worldwide who are suffering from pre-diabetes, which is the stage just before diabetes, and they don't even know it. So being aware of the risk factors will allow you to take measures to get yourself tested so you can be aware what levels your blood sugar is at. That's all for now. Until the next time, remember, make health your habit.